The damage you take after foolishly walking over a ledge. Whether it was accidental or intentional, the hearts you lose hurt, especially when the distance you fall is high. It is painful to see the frustrating red death screen appearing after falling to your death, especially when you lose all your items and experience in survival, or even worse, your entire world in hardcore. Luckily, Mojang has added several Minecraft mechanics over the years that help reduce or completely remove the fall damage players take. Some of these are widely known, such as water, while others are not so much. But before we dive right in, we must understand how fall damage works. Contrary to what many believe, fall damage is not calculated based on falling speed, but rather fall distance. A player that falls a distance that is less than 3.5 blocks does not take any fall damage, while each additional block after that increases the amount of damage taken by 1 damage or half a heart. This means that falling for a distance of, for example, 8.5 blocks would result in a loss of 2.5 hearts. A 23.5 block fall would therefore kill a player with full health. To reduce or negate fall damage, the player either has to land on top of a block that reduces fall damage by a percentage, or land on a block or perform an interaction that resets the player's fall distance. First, we'll talk about methods that reset a player's fall distance. The most common and well-known way to reset a player's fall distance is to land in water. This is when a player's fall distance is reset to 0. This is also why falling in water is one of the most common pieces of advice given to new Minecraft players, and also why MLG Water Bucket is so common. Using water to break your fall does have its shortcomings though. The biggest problem with MLG Water is the fact that water cannot be placed in Nether. This is where the alternative but slightly more annoying cobwebs come in. Cobwebs work in the same way as water buckets and can be placed in any dimension. The downside to cobwebs is that it is annoying to deal with. When a player falls into a cobweb, their movement speed is slowed, which is extremely important when the player is trying to run away. Cobwebs also have to be picked up by shears, which both take up an extra space in your hotbar and is slower than just picking up water using your bucket. If neither of the two methods mentioned are available, slime blocks are probably your next best bet. A player must hold the jump key when landing onto the slime block in order to bounce and set fall distance to 0. However, to take no damage whatsoever, a player must keep bouncing on the slime block until the maximum bounce height is less than 3.5 blocks. Once it is, the player can release the hotbar and land normally. This method suffers the same problem as cobwebs, as they take too long to be useful in a chase. Additionally, slime blocks are also extremely hard to obtain compared to the previously mentioned methods, making it unrealistic in many situations. Players can also have their fall distances reset by mounting rideable entities. These include minecarts, boats, horses, donkeys, mules, llamas, saddled pigs, and saddled striders. To successfully avoid damage, a player must right-click one of these named entities. However, perform this with caution, as certain entities such as horses cannot be mounted when the player has an item in their main hand. Additionally, sleeping in a bed before falling does not negate fall damage that you take. Even though it may seem that you took no damage while sleeping in the bed, the damage would be dealt later once you leave. Boats can also negate fall damage in other ways too. When falling while riding a boat, the player does not take fall damage. This, however, only works in Java Edition Minecraft, and it does not work in Bedrock and other editions. Some other methods that completely negate fall damage include landing on sweetberry bushes, ladders and vines, sneaking while falling onto the top of a scaffold, having the slow falling potion effect, or using an ender pearl. These methods all either result in non-fall damage related damage, are too inconsistent to pull off multiple times, or are too impractical due to how difficult they are to obtain. These can still be extremely useful though in the right situations. For example, you can use ender pearls when none of the other more reliable methods are available. However, when an ender pearl is thrown, it starts traveling at 23 blocks per second. So if a player is falling faster than that speed at the time of throwing, the ender pearl will not be able to save them. Next, we'll talk about methods that do not completely negate fall damage. The most basic of these are those that reduce fall damage by percentage amounts. There are 3 blocks with this property: honey blocks and hay bales, which reduce fall damage to only 20% of the original, and beds, which cut damage by half. Armor with protection and feather falling enchantments also reduce fall damage by percentages. It is important to note that stock armor with no enchantments have no effect on fall damage. Finally, there are 2 interesting anomalies to reducing fall damage. First is the jump boost potion. Each level extends the number of blocks you can fall without taking fall damage by 1. The second anomaly is using lava. This may seem crazy at first, and it is. It should only be used when a player has a fire resistance effect, but it can be used to a certain extent. Lava does not work in the same way as water though. Water resets the player's fall distance when they touch the block, while lava reduces fall distance by half each tick the player is touching the lava. However, this difference is negligible in most circumstances, as all you have to do is to stay in the lava long enough such as the fall distance falls to a level that is below 3.5 blocks to negate all damage. There could be situations though where the player is falling so fast due to their high fall distances that they only touch the lava for a small number of ticks, resulting still in a bit of damage that would hurt the player. Overall, there are numerous ways to reduce fall damage, and really doesn't matter which one you use. Some are harder, some are easier. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It only takes about 2 seconds and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed.